What's good, family? It's your boy, Armor Sports Guru. I'm going to give y'all my preview for the Eastern Conference. I'm going to give y'all the teams that I think are going to the playoffs. We're going to start off, not in a particular order. We're going to start off with the Sixers. I think the Sixers have the most dominant player in the conference in Joel Embiid. I think the only thing Joel Embiid needs is a running mate. Whether that's going to be Tyrese Maxey, whether that's going to be a healthy James Harden, come playoff time, he needs an adequate running mate. He needs someone else that's going to be able to give his team an effective, not just stat stuffing, but an effective 30 points that he's not giving them. Because he's going to get 30 against anybody. Anybody. And it shows even that much more come playoff time. He's healthy. He's giving you 30 against anyone. He's the most unguardable player in basketball. But his problem is he hasn't had an effective running mate. If he's had an effective running mate, he probably could have won a championship by now. If just a little 10 more games of health every single year, he would have been the MVP the last 2 years. But that is not what's happened. They've given it to Jokic, or I think he should have got it the last 2 years. I think he got robbed. But if he can get an effective running mate, I like the pieces they have so far. I'm looking at them. They don't defend very well as a team, but it's still early. But what he needs is effective running mate. And you got all season to figure it out because you actually have the guys there. You have guys there. But who's going to be? Tyrese Maxey or James Harden? Figure it out. Celtics, of course. Celtics are loaded. They're deep. Their big man is still hurt, but he'll be back, I think, second half of the season. I do think, however, they're going to miss Emi Udoka. Come playoff time, I think he's going to be missed. I think the other guy, Mazzoli, I'm butchering his name. My apologies. But not that he's bad, but Emi Udoka did such a great job for them and really changed the identity of that team. I don't think you can just plug someone else in there who was an assistant and just keep it rolling the way they did. Even though talent-wise, I think they're better. They went and got Gallinari. I wish they still had him, but he ended up blowing out his knee. Malcolm Brogdon is going to help them because you have a better decision maker with the ball in his hands. But I just think, listen, Emi Udoka is going to hurt them because they could have and should have lost that series to Miami. And they received breaks because they couldn't would have should have lost that series to Miami, a far inferior team talent-wise. And could have and which I think would have lost that series to Milwaukee if Middleton was playing. Bottom line, you got Chris Middleton there. I think they beat them. I think I see the Bucks as a team that comes out the East. If the Bucks are healthy come playoff time, they're coming out the East. As presently constructed Eastern Conference, I don't think there's a team in the Eastern Conference in a 7-game series that can beat the Bucks. I don't see it. They have the best player on both ends. I don't have to worry about his health. The energy he plays with, the enthusiasm, the way the effects he has on the game. I think they got the best player in basketball, Giannis. And yeah, there's a lot of things that what Gilbert was saying about him that is true. And with all that being said, he's still the most dominant. He's still the best player in the game right now. When I say best as far as having an impact on the game, Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in basketball. He has the biggest impact on the game today. So, with all that being true that Gilbert said about him, he's already this. With more to go. Yeah, it's like that. But the Celtics will be there. I think the Bucks are going to be there. Only question I have about the Bucks is their health with some of their players. Will Lopez be healthy? Will Lopez be healthy? Middleton. But outside of that, Bucks are going to be there. The Hawks, I like what they did. Now they're going to have that two-point guard lineup. I don't think they have enough bigs to challenge to come out of the East. And losing Gallinari is going to be a miss for them, but I like their coach, and they're going to be able to cause some problems for somebody. Um, Cavaliers. Cavaliers. Cavaliers have a great mix of a lot of size and great guard play. You know what I'm saying? Normally you get one and not the other. And but they have both and they have the great size with multiple players. The thing is, where I think we can take them to the next level because I think Donovan Mitchell is that dude. I think that the Knicks was in a position where, I mean, Danny Ainge was just trying to rob them. Cleveland had assets, more exposable assets, and they're already better. So they didn't really lose anything. They didn't really lose anything. Um, so many teams are tanking now for that big French kid, and I understand that he looks he looks as good as advertised. Um, but Cleveland didn't really lose anything. I think what's going to take Cleveland to the next level is Evan Mobley. His rise, how much does he rise? Because I know what we're getting from Darius Garland. I know what we're getting from Spider Mitchell. And Evan Mobley, his rise, if he really rises this year, in his second or third season, if he really rises this year, Cleveland can challenge to come out of the East. He's going to be the catalyst to see if they challenge to come out of the East. Because if he rises to the point where he's playing at an all-star level, it's gonna be hard for him to make the all-star team in the Eastern Conference. But if he rises to a level where he's an actual all-star or playing at that all-star level, Cleveland come out the East. Yeah, I'm not sleeping. Cleveland can come out the East. We have Miami. Miami's going to be right there, and they're going to be a tough out for anybody. But just roster-wise, talent-wise, they don't really match up against the big dogs. But Eric Spoelstra gets the most out of that team. We got a dog in Jimmy Butler who gets the most out of himself, and he gets the most out of his teammates. They're going to be a tough out for anyone. I look at the Miami Heat as the Sean Porter of the Eastern Conference, where the top dogs, they may beat them, but when you go against them, you're battle tested. You are definitely battle tested. That's what they are to me. That's what Sean Porter was against the top heavyweight welterweights, and that's what the Miami Heat are to me. Um, the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets, they're like the sexiest team. Everybody wants to talk about them. But I do think they'll make the playoffs, whether playing wise or whatever. I mean, you have a bunch of guys now who wants to be on their best behavior. Ben Simmons wants to show the world he wants to play basketball. And I'm going to give him time to get acclimated himself because he hasn't played NBA basketball in some time. I don't think they have enough size. There's so much more size, and this team will operate so much better in the West because there's not as much size in the Western Conference. It's not as much size in the Western Conference. Eastern Conference, there's more, you know, not much size in the Western Conference. The only real center you have to deal with in the Western Conference is Joker. In the Eastern Conference, you got the bigs in Milwaukee. You have Joel Embiid. You have the bigs in Cleveland. Yeah, those bigs there's a lot of more size in the Eastern Conference if you're paying attention. So I don't think they have enough of that. I don't think they really have enough of that to really compete against the big dogs. I just don't. Um, and the thing is, they didn't have that before, but what they had before was an overwhelming offense that they could just bomb you out the arena. And that's not the case right now. The question mark is, can they get to that? If by chance, there's some people that feel like they can. If by chance they can get to that overwhelming offense where it's like, what the fuck? Where it just looks like where it's just like the greatest show on turf. Like, goddamn, the score is 21-0 before we even got started. They just bombed it away because you got KD and you got Kyrie and you got someone who's orchestrating things. And, you know what I'm saying? They're going to have to work that out. And on paper, it looks kind of better. Can Ben Simmons score like James Harden? Not on his best day, but he can distribute and he can defend on the other end. So, and once they get the other shooters back, maybe. As a question mark, maybe. Um, we're gonna have to wait and see if they can get that offense. Can they just bomb you out the water? I don't see that happening, but you have the opportunity to prove me wrong. Nonetheless, I think they're a playoff team. Um, Chicago, I think, is a playoff team. I think they're a playoff team. If there's any team from the playoffs last year that I think could make a dip and come back down, would be Chicago. DeMar DeRozan played at an MVP caliber level. Well, he was in a conversation last year. I really, really do like Zach LaVine and having them two together more. With Zach LaVine there, on paper, looks good for them. Looks good for them. But on paper, looks good for them. I just got a feeling that they can end up taking a step back because they had so many guys, even with the injuries they had. Lonzo Ball might not play this year. Alex Caruso is healthy, thank God. God bless him. But you had guys that really just maxed out. So with the maxing out, be a dippage, it wouldn't surprise me if Chicago's not in the playoffs. I do think they will, but it wouldn't surprise me if they're not. Teams that I think can get into the play-in and be effective: my New York Knicks, the Washington Wizards, and the Toronto Raptors. That's my take for the Eastern Conference. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit me in the comments. Let me know what you think. It's your boy, Urban Sports Guru. I'm out. Salute.